Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Africa America's 70th Anniversary Gala. Returning as our host this year, please welcome back Hall of Fame inducted marketing executive, author, entrepreneur, and general badass, Bozoma St. John.
All right, well, good evening, everybody. Now, you know when you get a lot of Africans, diasporans, people who love Africa, people who love diasporans together, they just never want to listen to directions. Okay, y'all are here at a reunion, and we appreciate that, but if you would kindly take your seats, that would be much appreciated. And you can make a little hand clap for yourselves as well, because you're looking very good from up here. Oh, you can do better than that. Come on, we're excited. We're excited. All right, well, welcome to the Africa America Institute's 70th Anniversary Gala. We're so excited to be here with you all tonight, and it's an honor to be back serving as your host for the evening as we come together in celebration for AAI's 70th anniversary. That's a big birthday. Yes, 70 years. Since its first annual awards gala in 1984, AAI has invited a global audience to celebrate Africa and her worldwide diaspora during the United Nations General Assembly. We have done so because much of the discussion during UNGA is necessarily about problems, but we need to also take time to acknowledge and celebrate progress, African success, and connection, bringing each of us together so we can be inspired to continue the work. The 70th Anniversary Gala is a tribute to AAI's incredible history of impact and a recognition of an expansive future full of potential and opportunity to fulfill and continue the vision of its founders. AAI's leaders are stewards of the original vision of its founders, embracing the philosophy of education for liberation. Today's current landscape of international partnerships and organizations making and working in concert towards shared goals for humanity makes it increasingly possible to carry that vision forward. Tonight also marks the culmination of the organization's 39th anniversary of the Awards Gala. 39 years of gathering. Okay, I don't know about y'all, but I'm very excited, and it sounds like you're excited too. In fact, I'm wearing kente cloth just so that I can be more excited for you. So tonight, we'd like to thank our sponsors, including Chevron, Access, USADF, and Afrexim Bank. Yay. Very, very good. Thank you so much. And we have a very, very exciting and wonderful contribution here tonight. We couldn't be more excited. It has been quite an evening already. I'm sure you've all continued to connect with people and make your connections yourself. But actually, I think we should also take a moment to honor those who are not here with us any longer, because we do want to honor them as well. So we want to take a look at some leaders in the community who are gone, but certainly not forgotten. What an honor it is to be here tonight, especially given this room and all who are in it. It is an honor for me to be back to host because every year I'm here, I certainly try my best to represent the diaspora and Ghana, specifically Ghana. And as I said before, I am wearing kente cloth, which is authentic, okay, woven in Bonre, which is in the Ashanti region in Ghana. Oh, okay, we got Ashanti people in the house. And it is certainly an honor to bring to the stage the president of the Africa American Institute and an Ashanti man himself, Kofi Apeteng.
Good evening. It's my great honor and privilege to welcome you to the Africa American Institute's 70th Anniversary Gala. From our beginnings in 1953, AAI has sought to establish a definitive break from earlier centuries of harmful engagement with the African continent. Our broad vision is to enrich the social fabric of humanity by connecting students, educators, leaders across sectors, through education, all with the goal of transforming the way we understand Africa and its worldwide diaspora. The vision of our founders was also to build a better world by connecting Americans and Africans to create a bridge of understanding and collaboration between Africa and the United States. We have seen our work in action around the world, from the thousands of individuals who have been educated and trained through our programs, to the creation of economic opportunities, to the development of vital networks among our alumni and partners. Our founders especially believed in education as a liberating force, and we believe that our ability to thrive at 70 years old is in part because we have stayed true to that vision. As we witness the challenges to the inclusion of the study of Africa and its worldwide diaspora in K-12 and higher education, it is apparent that the need to stay the course is all the more urgent. Tonight, we will take the time to honor individuals and organizations who reflect our values of excellence and service. Dr. Evelyn Jones-Rich, Dr. Rich is a pioneering educator and activist who was our most successful school services program director in the late 60s and 70s. Her track record inspired us to return to this work during the COVID-19 pandemic. And we are now working with more than 40,000 students and 1,400 teachers and staff in Southeast Michigan. The Conrad N. Hilton Foundation, which has been a global grant maker supporting organizations whose leaders have deep lived experience and work most proximately with local communities. Deborah Lee. Ms. Lee, whose pioneering work as a leader is inspiring a new generation of women to lead in new and better ways. To MTN, who have been leaders in the digital revolution in Africa. And have been an exemplar in corporate philanthropy. We are also eagerly looking forward to hearing from President Gengob and President Masisi, and also Professor Benedict Orama, President and Chair of Afro-Exim Bank, who are with us this evening to share their collaborative efforts to tackle some of the biggest challenges facing the world. Before we begin tonight's program, I want to take a moment to offer my sincere appreciation and gratitude to our donors and funders, our board members, our community partners, our alumni, the AAI staff, and all of our supporters. Thank you for being here with us and for your efforts and dedication to fulfilling our vision. We look forward to building with you for the next 70 years and beyond. We hope you enjoy tonight's program.
Education is the greatest equalizer. So much so that a child of the farm worker has become a president of a country. You didn't say, since you don't have high school, we cannot take you as British were doing. You don't lower your education system, so I'll lift you up.
What AAI is doing, it makes quite a difference. We have to know our history. We come from Africa. Yes! The minute all Africans from wherever we are come together, the minute we will see other cultures respecting us.
Since 1953, the Africa-America Institute has been the preeminent U.S. organization concerned about education for and about Africa. Beginning in the 1950s, AAI's education work took the form of scholarships and fellowships for Africans to attend colleges and universities in the United States. In the 1960s, AAI programs also promoted educating and informing U.S. policymakers about the perspectives and priorities of newly independent African states. AAI pioneered an additional line of education programming to focus on school districts across the United States. AAI organized major convenings to provide platforms for African leaders to critique U.S. policies towards apartheid South Africa and to ensure that African perspectives informed the passage of AGOA, the 2000 Africa Growth and Opportunity Act. Since the mid-20th century, our programs have expanded and advanced academic and professional training opportunities for Africans continent-wide and educated people in the United States about Africa and its centrality to the past, present, and future of the modern world. Today, we're re-embracing our co-founders' Education for Liberation vision. AAI's School Services Program provides coaching, training for educators, and a curriculum that grounds students in a more truthful history of our world.
We come from a continent that has a rich history. We come from a continent that contributed to the world. We need to make sure that we teach everyone about our history, those who are of African descent and those who are not.
Being a scholar, for me, has gone beyond just the financial support I've received, but also the fact that I've been able to get access to spaces and opportunities that I otherwise would probably not have gotten. This has been so profound in defining the trajectory of my life.
We can't say that we're educating future leaders for Africa and not have Africa present. And so it's about changing the lives of those individuals. But it's also about strengthening the conversation and improving the kinds of designs and outputs that these students will have.
I know that I clearly wouldn't have been here barely 2 months away from getting my first degree, if not for AAI. I can't thank them enough. Knowing that there are people who believe in my dream, even though they didn't see me, it's changed my perspective on life as well, to always tap into opportunities, to be as kind as I can be, because I'm here through kindness, and that's just something that's been very inspiring for me.
Today, AAI scholarship programs for Africans facilitate advanced studies all around the world, including African countries. We celebrate a network of over 23,000 African alumni who have benefited from these programs.
When you train one person, you have equally trained multiple persons, because one like beget like, and the circle can go on and on.
There's nothing as important as having a belonging, knowing that you have the ownership of the whole continent. That will ensure the continent makes it. There is success.
Africa is essential to the progress and prosperity of the entire planet. And so I'm grateful to the African American Institute for all that you've done for me.
I would like to congratulate African American Institute. We all are grateful that the foundation was laid there. Because of that, today I'm a president, so happy 70th anniversary.
We are a 70-year-old organization striving to enrich the social fabric of humanity. And in so doing, we are transforming the way people understand and appreciate Africa and its worldwide diaspora. Today, we are humbled and inspired by the extraordinary impact we have made together over the past 70 years, and excited by AAI's trajectory and potential for extraordinary continued growth.
Thank you so much, Kofi, for those remarks and the inspiring story of AAI's work. Now, I keep saying I'm excited. I will use that word many times tonight, okay? So I am excited. I could not be more excited about the mayor taking the time to join us this evening to deliver remarks. So please welcome to the stage the 110th mayor of New York City, Mayor Eric Adams.
You know, as I sit here in this room of African American Institute, you just don't know how much I'm filled with so much energy. Mommy used to clean houses of people, and she used to walk past Brooklyn Borough Hall, the largest county, and with her third grade education, she used to feel as though she was not respected. And then when I became the first African American to be borough president, she would walk in that building differently. She just had this energy about it, and she would tell the security, my son is the borough president. You know? And that's the significance of the moment right now. She did not miss it. She understood the role she played. And so to you Africans that's in the room today, when you are in America, do not miss the reality of the day. America, the most powerful country probably on the globe, is now currently being run by Africans. The mayor of the 4 major cities in America, the top cities, California, African. Los Angeles, California, African. Chicago, African. Houston, African. New York City, African. The top 10 African Americans. The minority leader in Congress, African. The Attorney General, African. The Vice President, African. The leader of the City Council, African. The leader of the Senate, African. The leader of the Assembly, African. The DA in Kings County, African. The DA in Manhattan, African. The DA in the Bronx, African. All of this chocolate. And so when you come from across the globe and you visit America, you need to be walking differently. You need to be standing tall. You need to understand that when I stood on the shores of Senegal at Gorée Island and looked out, I realized we left Africa in slavery and I returned with the mayoralty of the most important city on the globe. That's the spirit of the African people. And we got to seize this moment. There's a window of opportunity that we have to grasp. And listen, I'm not trying to make people feel uncomfortable, but I'm trying to be accurate in my analysis of where we are right now. This is our moment. Colonizers raped Africa for years, took away the cocoa and sold it abroad, took away the gold, the diamonds. For years, the destructive actions of the continent of Africa and all that it had. And now, you silently built up an educational opportunity through this entity. I'm so proud of this organization and what you represent and how you planted the seeds to get us prepared for the moment that we have right now. And yes, I love America, but let's not mix this up. I'm African. I'm African. And there's a reason that this country allows you to put your heritage in front of his name. Chinese American, Jewish American, Polish American, because this country states that you don't have to leave your heritage behind. But far too often, we felt as though we have to leave it behind. So, the ancestors allowed me to be elevated to be the mayor of the most important city on the globe. Go back to the continent and let them know that the mayor of this city is an African. Congratulations to what you're doing.
Well, a rousing speech. Thank you, Mayor Adams, for joining us this evening. Thank you so much. Okay, now, I would like to introduce Executive Director for the Development and Entrepreneurship at MIT, Senior Lecturer at MIT Sloan School of Management and Economic Advisor to the President of Egypt, Dina Sherif. Dina?
I say it's a little hard to hop on stage after the mayor of New York gives remarks. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, when I took on the role of Executive Director of the Legatum Center for Development and Entrepreneurship at MIT, I was given the very amazing task of expanding our program across Africa. I knew that if I was to succeed in promoting entrepreneurship across the continent that is also home to my own home country, Egypt, I would need to focus on doing two things: telling the amazing stories of the entrepreneurs who are already using technology to solve some of our most complex challenges, and create a community for those very entrepreneurs to work together to support the next generation of entrepreneurs creating change. If I could achieve these two things, then the Legatum Center may just have a chance at playing an integral role in shifting the narrative around Africa to one of opportunity, abundance, creativity, and innovation. With that in mind, it should come as no surprise that I recently recruited an amazing storyteller and poet to join the Legatum Center team at MIT. Our gift to all of you tonight and to the host of this amazing event, the Africa America Institute, and my dear friend and mentor, Kofi Apinteng, is a poem that tells the story of who we are and the places that we come from. It's a real honor and pleasure to welcome my dear colleague, Donovan Beck, to the stage.
As a storyteller and a filmmaker, my entire job is to talk about spaces and place, the location in which we create stories of humanity together. These are dinner tables in people's homes and schools. And you see, I know of a place, one where it isn't just instruments that make music, but heartstrings, where there's a tapestry that is made up of the stardust that our ancestors left us in their wake. It is there that the night gets shaken into the day because the dark cannot keep us away from moving forward, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. But you see, this place, you cannot find it on a map. There is no projection written onto canvas, no arbitrary lines cut into soil. No, this place is found in the borderless edges of the heart that sits inside your chest. So I ask you to continue to play like orchestras, to sing your story so loud that injustice falls silent in your path, to dare all the daring dreams, and to walk into rooms of judgment with hands full of understandings, knowing that we are not just our known histories, but the combination of it all, of our past, our present, and our future. And if we let others write our narratives, we can never gift them with the truth. So I ask you to be like the farmers from the north of Africa to the south, who always look towards the roots, the ones who carve back a path back home, share where we come from, not only the histories that are found in textbooks, but in the nooks of the Orikova, the vibrant tapestries of the clothing that we wear, the meals that we place onto open tables, and the warm welcomes that accompany them. Give note to the legacies that we share and the new worlds that we are building tomorrow. You see, we are a beautiful mosaic of all the stories that were spoken into constellations far before they were ever written down. It is here, this place, that progress is found. You see, the beauty of humanity is that there's still so much left to do, and so when the night comes knocking at your door, when the hushed voices of doubt crawl at your feet, when it feels like the problems of the world are a mountain carved into a blockade, I invite you here, this place, one in which we dismiss apathy, we embrace uncertainty, and we understand that we are the next chapter into a new story. It is here that we understand that the trails of our lives will be marked by the people that we meet along the way. And so to you, you beautiful angels of the get-through, the ones turning the impossible into somehow, graced with centuries of wisdom. When the world offers you questions of today, you hand them in answers of tomorrow, and there will be a tomorrow in all of this. You see, legacy isn't just about what we give to today, but what we hand over until tomorrow. We cannot give them gray skies, deserted farmlands, or homes that weren't built on the foundations of everything that we hope for. We must give our hearts to this, the parts of ourselves that know that there's still so much left to do, not just for us, but for what comes next. I thank you, and
All right, thank you, Donovan, for that incredibly moving and impactful speech and poem. We really appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to take a little fun quiz. Okay, this is me filling in space. So y'all going to act like you really want to do this, okay? Because I'm making it up right now. We've talked a little bit about the diaspora. We've talked a little bit about the African continent. There was so much roll call going on. I feel like we need a moment for people to celebrate themselves, okay? So in New York City, of course, when you're out, people are usually like, who's from Brooklyn? And everybody starts yelling. Okay, nobody yelled. Nobody's from Brooklyn? Okay, that was not very strong. Okay, we're gonna start with the African continent first, okay? Now, of course, we gotta start with the West Africans. Oh, West Africans, you have shamed me. And West Africans, come on. See? Now this is what I'm talking about, okay? Now, y'all know y'all gotta really follow this, okay? From the southern side of Africa. Now see, I think that was extra because homeboy right here in the front, he was really making a lot of noise, so I think you made up for the majority of Southern Africa. Okay, now look, we love the people from the East, but sometimes, let's see what we got, the East Africans. And we got a standing East African. Incredible, amazing. West Africans, you should really be ashamed of yourself. You see, your East African brother stood up. Okay, now the North. Not bad, but we're still looking at you sideways. We love you. Okay, all right. Thank you for allowing me to have that little pop quiz. Oh wait, but we forgot the diaspora. We can't do that, right? Okay, how about America? Yeah, there we go, okay? The Caribbean. Nicely done. South American. Okay, we gotta do a little hand clap for the South Americans who exist but are not present, okay? Anywhere else in the diaspora I forgot? Central Africa, thank you. Now, sir, are you from Central Africa? Or you were just standing up? I guess he was just standing up for the Central Africans, thank you. You're from the Upper West Side, that is not Central Africa. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, now let's get back to the show. To present our first award of the evening, please welcome Maura McLean, AAI's President Emerita and Historian, and Dr. Olivia Lynch, AAI's Senior Education Advisor and Coordinator.
Thank you, Bozoma. Good evening, everyone. Research to recover AAI's founding history is ongoing, but one thing is becoming clear. AAI owes its existence to Black Americans who had an abiding faith in the liberatory power of education. In the mid-20th century, they fought for full citizenship in the United States while actively supporting African-led liberation movements across the African continent. For William Leo Hansberry, a professor of African antiquity, beloved by African students attending Howard University from the 1920s onward, Horace Manbon, Lincoln University's first Black president and AAI's first board chair, and for members of AAI's African Advisory Council, which included Nnamdi Azikiwe, Kwame Nkrumah, and William V.S. Tubman. The histories and freedom struggles of Africa and Africa's worldwide diaspora were inextricable to these individuals. Together, they envisioned AAI as an organization that would both support the educational aspirations of Africans and spread knowledge about Africa in the deep past, in antiquity, in the Middle Ages. Spread knowledge about Africa and its centrality in the creation of the modern world. In the early 1970s, by which time Cold War warrior machinations had ensured that the founders were erased and forgotten, Evelyn Jones Rich, an inspired New York City high school teacher, reconnected AAI with its founding vision. She took up the challenge of invigorating its school services program, an unprecedented new initiative aimed at informing Americans about Africa by focusing on K through 12. She led AAI in helping elementary and secondary school teachers expose students to Africa in communities across the United States through subjects ranging from history to language arts to music to science and mathematics. The Legacy of Teaching Africa an Excellence Award commemorates the vision of AAI's co-founders by recognizing extraordinary scholar activists who promote scholarly-based curricula and pedagogy on Africa and its worldwide diaspora, and help students thrive in the classroom and in life. The award will be presented by Dr. Olivia Lynch, a former student of Dr. Jones Rich. Dr. Lynch is an accomplished and seasoned educator in her own right, who, inspired by her teacher, has taken up the baton and is guiding AAI School Services program toward meeting 21st century challenges. As AAI renews its program focus on teaching about Africa, in these times when teachers are woefully undervalued, I've had the privilege of learning from these two women about how to be a good ancestor. To witness the Pan-Africanist quest of education for freedom moving forward for new generations is a joyful and edifying experience. So tonight, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Drs. Lynch and Jones Rich to you. Doña Lynch.
Hello, everyone. It is an honor to introduce Dr. Evelyn Jones Rich, a scholar educator, personal mentor, and sacred friend. I don't know if I can separate the great educator from the superior human being that she is. Dr. Rich is the kind of educator that every student needs. She embodies both scholarship and compassion. As a 15-year-old student, my fellow classmates and I were never in doubt as to her knowledge and wisdom. Not just that she knows the content of history, but also the many layers that any historical moment encompasses. Miss Rich, Evie, treated all of her students as fellow collaborators and learners with her on the never-ending quest to know. I asked Evie what she wanted me to say about her. This is some of what she shared with me. I quote, "Tell how much I love teaching. Teaching is an adventure because kids are wonderful and very unpredictable. My students and I embarked on an adventure where we learn from each other. Teachers affect students, students model behaviors of teachers," end quote. We are all aware that students in our schools don't learn enough about Africa. I did not have that problem. In my class of over 35 students, of which I was one of only 2 Black students, I had a world history teacher who shared authentic history and stories about Africa and brought in artifacts from her visits to that continent. Most of all, she taught Africa with passion and enthusiasm. We could not help but be enthusiastic too. Dr. Rich is a compassionate educator. She has an unshakable belief that all students can learn. Being compassionate requires courage. Her students came first, even when her colleagues were not always in agreement with her. She taught about the Holocaust, awakening our hearts and minds to the need to stand up for truth, not by giving us answers when we ask complex questions such as, how could such a thing happen? But by motivating us to seek answers on our own, even when it meant reading our first 1,000-page book, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. She took care of us. When I was satisfied with attending the local public college, she motivated and supported me in applying to New York University, my alma mater. When social problems arose in the classroom, she looked to us, the students, to be the first to offer solutions. She made us all independent learners. Over the years, I have learned of her other accomplishments in support of students. One such experience was confronting and putting a multifaceted plan in place to rid a high school of drug dealers. Of that experience, she says, "I really felt and continue to feel that an important way of establishing an educational environment where teaching and learning can take place is to show everyone in the building, teachers, support staff, and students, 3 basic principles. 1 is respect, 1 is recognition, and 1 is reward." Later, as the dean of the Hunter College School campus, she went to work to make access to Hunter more equitable for all students of the city. Currently, she is one of the leaders, if not the leader, challenging the city of New York to live up to his healthcare promises to its retirees. She says so beautifully and emphatically, a promise is a promise. People expect great things from New York because of people like Dr. Evelyn. She is a dedicated New Yorker. Before I close, I must mention her wonderful family. Her husband, Marv, is described by my daughter as the best example of a noble man. I thank Evelyn and Marvin Rich for always welcoming me to their home and making every meeting one of love and learning. Evie always demonstrates her devotion to her son Gordon, her grandchildren, and her daughter-in-law. In my high school yearbook, she wrote the following: "Some of us are destined to change the world. Welcome to the club." Please join me in welcoming Dr. Evelyn Jones-Rich, a very deserving African American Institute honoree.
She's always teaching and she's always helping people, and she's always raising issues of fairness and equity. Evie, congratulations on this award from the African American Institute. You are amazing, and I am so glad to be your friend.
She paved the way for Black girls like me from working class backgrounds to attend Bryn Mawr College 50 years later. And so we celebrate you, Evie, for your esteemed career as a scholar activist, educator, and fighter. And I love you. Congratulations.
Evie, you truly exemplify the Africa America Institute's mission. You remind us every day Martin Luther King's fierce urgency of now. We are honored to know you. Abrazos.
Hi there. I am Evie Rich. I'm a teacher and a learner. And I'm thrilled to be here tonight to share with you briefly some of my adventures with AAI. Okay, there is an African proverb that says, many paths lead to the same place. Let me say it again. Many paths lead to the same place. And this evening's festivities serve as a metaphor for that proverb, because AAI is honoring individuals and organizations whose journey has taken them to that place. Now, where is that place, you ask me? Well, that place is mythical and visionary. It is elusive and ever-changing. It is a society where right and justice prevail, where individuals learn and grow, give and share in an environment which recognizes and honors diversity, racial and economic justice, and inclusion. And my life's journey and activism is all about my journey to that place. Now, I have taken many different paths, but no path has been more interesting, rewarding, or challenging than teaching and learning. And teaching and learning about Africa has really been center stage in my life, and still is. I'm 90 years old, but don't tell anybody. In a letter to me that Kofi Apentic wrote, encouraging me to accept this award, which I really don't believe in awards and things, but I said yes. And the reason why I said yes is because this letter really understood what it was that we were trying to do in AAI. And what we were trying to do is to teach students, well, first teachers and students, about the real issues in life, okay? We wanted to teach them how to lead their students to do the really important things, to respect others, all right, to read and write, and of course count, that's important, but really to appreciate and honor academics, diversity, inclusion, excellence. Okay, and so K-12 teachers are key in that. They are, I think, the bulwarks of our society, okay? And nevertheless, we are often disrespected by our own institutions and by scholars and all of that. But listen up, parents, you people sitting out there, you're the first teachers. For me, I got my start in my church, believe it or not. That's where I first learned about Africa, okay? I learned about it from the missionary collections that preceded the regular collections every Sunday, and about the missionaries who came back from Africa to tell us all about it. Okay, that was a long time ago, all right? And that's when I learned about the great leaders of Africa, some of them, Kwame and Nkrumah, Azikiwe. You know, I learned about Horace Mann Bond, who was the president of Lincoln University, where my minister graduated many years ago, okay? He was a founder of AAI, and from Leo Hansberry, and Bill Steen, whom I interviewed when I did my dissertation on AAI. Anyway, AAI has been an important part. All right. I read the Pittsburgh Courier and the Philadelphia Afro-American. We called them the Black Dispatches, but they gave us the history of people of color when white presses were ignoring us, okay? And then I went to Bryn Mawr College. I was a pioneer there, but I learned the important skills. Now, I am not deprecating the academics because I wasn't their most brilliant student. I came from a public high school, you know, in a working class neighborhood. But I learned a lot of things there. I learned how the white power works. And that's been a key learning experience for me in my life. Okay, I learned how to problem solve. I learned how to think creatively and imaginatively. And in all the jobs I have, I've used those skills. All right, but okay, then I went to work for AAI against a background where they told me Africa had no history. I don't know if you know that because you're mostly younger than I. This is what they told me. They told me Africans never invented anything and that, you know, they discounted, for example, the stone walls of Great Zimbabwe, the wonderful pilgrimage of Mansa Musa, and they told me that Egypt wasn't in Africa. It was in the Middle East. All right. Now, I knew that wasn't true. And I went to school services, and I really, with great help, energized the teaching of Africa in American schools. Now, my colleague, my partner in crime is here tonight. She's only 86. You see, I'm 90. Her name is Sandra Bennett, and she's sitting over there at that table. And she went with me everywhere, all over Africa, all over the United States, because AAI funded an organization called Educators to Africa. And I understood, and they did, that the best way to teach teachers how to teach about Africa was to take them there. And so we took hundreds of teachers to Africa, okay? Hundreds. And AAI paid for all of this, okay? And then in school services, we did a number of things. The first thing we did was challenge the language that people used about teaching about Africa and Africans. Like, Africans didn't wear clothes, they wore costumes. Who ever heard of that? All right, really. They said Africans were primitive, that the rainforest was a jungle. Well, we said to these scholars and teachers, those terms no longer work, guys. You gotta change your tune. Okay, so what did we do? We first took them to Africa, and then we came back and we visited them in their classrooms around the country. And we watched and saw how they implemented this curriculum. We evaluated existing materials about Africa. We show teachers how to use the poor materials effectively. Maybe when we finish, I could show you how to take something that's really bad, show how to use it very effectively, okay? We introduce them to the concepts of the oral tradition, which has dominated African cultures for years, centuries, okay? We mounted a conference called the Passionate Libraries Guide to Africa. And we got librarians from all over the country and schools of libraries to come and see our materials and watch us show them how to teach about Africa, okay? And then we infiltrated, that's a good word, we infiltrated the state education departments and the city school systems, and we had them put questions about Africa on their Regents exams, on the SATs, on the ACTs. Let me tell you, we really worked. All right. And now, then we decided we should create our own materials. So we did that too. And we talked to the scholars and we said, look, we are training the students who are going to be your students. So don't look down on us. We have a contribution to make, all right? And so we work with oh, one other thing. We talked to African governments and we said they were shaking off colonial rule. This is 1970, all right? We said, you don't have to teach about the flora and the fauna of the colonizer. You've got great flowers and great animals. You teach about your own. Cherish your own. Look up to your own, okay? Now, Mr. Eppington's letter understood that what we were trying to do was to teach kids not only about African culture and history, but about their own. We wanted them to understand that if they understood another culture, they could better appreciate their own culture. Okay, so now where are we? In conclusion, they told me—
You have about a minute more. The president
I
of
have a
Zimbabwe is
minute.
waiting to
All
speak.
right.
Okay.
I'm gonna finish.
Yes.
All right. There are many of us on this journey, and my activism and my advocacy persists. And I am disappointed with the mayor. I'm a municipal retiree. I have given my city 30 years of great teaching, and he owes municipal retirees who helped create the city something. So I tell you what I tell him. We will not give in. We will not give up. We're in it to win it. Right and justice will prevail.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Botswana President.
Well, let's again give a round of applause to His Excellency, the President, Masisi. Thank you so much for joining us. And y'all already know we gotta give it up one more time for my homegirl, Dr. Evelyn Jones-Rich. Yes, what a rousing speech she gave. So to present our next award, we'd like to welcome to the stage AAI trustee Becky Edwards and Hibat Kalfin, Executive Director of the Network for Empowered Aid Response.
Thank you, Ozma. Good evening, everybody. It is my distinct honor to present our next award, the Philanthropic Impact Award, honoring the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation. We are thrilled to use this platform to acknowledge the profound impact the foundation has made through its commitment to localization in its international grant making. and remarkable work on the African continent specifically. The Foundation's grant-making follows its founders' values of integrity, thinking big, humility, stewardship, and compassion. And this award is being presented based on the Foundation's dedication to helping economically disadvantaged youth across Africa, whether through groundbreaking work supporting refugees in Ethiopia and Uganda, or their commitment to local partnerships with the Safe Water Program in Ghana. The Foundation works to ensure that African voices are heard, that solutions are tailored to local contexts, and that communities are empowered to drive their own development. Work that is truly inspiring and deserving of tonight's recognition.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. This evening, it is my great honor to be part of paying a tribute to a great friend of NEAR and a champion of localization. Under Peter's leadership, the Conrad Hilton Foundation has continuously proven that it'll go beyond the rhetoric on localization and locally led development and actually walk the talk and make it a reality. NEAR is not the only organization, but one of many that has benefited from the Foundation's partnership, thought leadership, and its willingness to listen and learn to proximate leaders, as you will see in this video segment.
I'd like to warmly congratulate the board chair, Holly Hilton McAuliffe, and President and CEO Peter Lahorn for upholding Conrad Hilton's legacy and carrying out the Foundation's vision of a world in which improving the human condition is a shared and sustainable goal. Thank you for your lasting contributions to peace, to prosperity, and to humanity.
Peter Lahorn is a national philanthropic treasure. He is a person of remarkable character, integrity, and he has a belief in the idea that everyone, wherever in the world they live, should have dignity. Thank you, Peter, and thank you to the team at the Conrad Hilton Foundation and your wonderful board.
It's really important to have champions like you who really understand how important it is that local people are the ones who are in the driving seat. And it's so important that foundations take this message. And so I join the African American Institute in celebrating you. I'm really sorry I'm not with you.
As Peter himself would say, potential is an abundant and renewable resource. Congratulations, Peter. Congratulations, Conrad Hilton Foundation, on this truly deserved award.
This is for your commitment to Africa and to locally led solutions. This is for recognizing us, a community-based organization, with your own humanitarian award in 2018. You gave us, and so many others, a voice and empowerment us to continue catalyzing large-scale transformation for communities in Kenya. Congratulations from Shoko family and the communities across Kenya.
Without any further ado, please join me in welcoming to the stage President and CEO of the Conrad Hilton Foundation, Peter Lahorn, to accept the philanthropy.
What a magical evening. Thank you, Becky and Hibak, for that generous introduction. I'm honored to be here this evening in the presence of His Excellency President Gaingob and His Excellency President Masisi, and so many others of you, all of you, from across the sectors who are doing inspiring and impactful work in Africa. I would like to congratulate the African American Institute on its 70 years of extraordinary work. And Kofi, I'd like to congratulate you for your tremendous leadership of AAI. I'm humbled and honored to receive this award on behalf of the Conrad and Hilton Foundation, alongside a group of other deeply deserving awardees. Congratulations to the MTA group. Congratulations to our inimitable and wonderful Auntie Evelyn Jones-Rich. And congratulations to Deborah Lee for your wonderful contributions. Our founder, Conrad and Hilton, advised us all, and I extend this to you as well: assume your full share of responsibility for the world in which you live. We are honored that Conrad's granddaughter, Holly Hilton McAuliffe, who chairs the Conrad and Hilton Foundation Board, is here tonight. Joining her from the Hilton family is her son and fellow board member, Justin McAuliffe, as well as Nikki Hilton Rothschild. Since the foundation's inception, nearly 80 years ago, we have granted close to $1 billion to support efforts in 29 countries across Africa, which represents more than 60% of our international grant making. While our foundation is being honored tonight, we very much share this award with our remarkable grantees, with our partners around the world, and indeed with all of you and your efforts to support local in Africa. Local communities and people with lived experience best understand the challenges they face and the solutions needed to address them. I know Winnie took my line, but I do want to say community solidarity, the art of pulling together, the spirit of Harambe, the power of Ubuntu. These are all among the richest, deepest, most abundant, and most renewable resources that Africa possesses. Let's treasure them and let's move them forward. Philanthropy has a responsibility to increase its direct funding to local organizations, especially in Africa. And as a foundation, we have taken a top to bottom and initially fairly daunting look at our own grant making to see how we can do more of it directly through local partners. We're still early in this journey, but by the end of this year, at least 25% of our international grant making will go directly to local organizations in Ghana, in Mozambique, in Tanzania, in Ecuador, in Colombia, up from the low single digits several years back. And I encourage you all to come on aboard. The water is fine. It's warm. Now, this is an important first step, and we believe that true change always starts at home. We are also proud to be collaborating with many of our peers in philanthropy and other partners, including USAID. Michelle Sumilas, thank you for being here tonight. And we honor the path that USAID has chosen to take in this regard as well, to collectively support an essential shift in who and how we all fund toward greater locally led development. So on behalf of the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation, the Hilton family, and in recognition of the creative, transformative, and tireless work of local organizations and agencies around the world, thank you for this great honor.
All right, congratulations to the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation. Again, yes. And now please join me in welcoming to the stage AAI's trustees, Usaina Alidu and Peter McCullough.
Assalamu alaikum, shalom, bonjour, inakwana, Jerev Jeff, Nyanga Def, marhaban, okabro. Yeah. So, my greeting of peace to all of you. 10 years ago, before many African countries got their independence, and before my beloved twin sister, Niger former ambassador to the US and Canada, Professor Hassana Alidu, and I were born. Some visionary Americans had the foresight of thinking of African futures in terms of her independent country's human capabilities to tackle autonomously post-independence economic and human development imperative. That visionary future thinking for independent African countries led them to the creation of the Africa-America Institute, an institution that granted scholarship and leadership training to more than 23,000 African youth from all corners of the continent. My twin sister, my beloved twin sister Hassana, and I count among the AAI alumni class of 1988. Our lives have been transformed by the scholarship, for the doctoral training for young African girls from Niger Republic. I'm saying Niger Republic. Our country of birth, before becoming today proud American citizens, global citizens, servant in higher education, between world, bridge builders between world-class American institutions of higher education, such as my beloved Rutgers University. The State University of New Jersey, Africa-based, linking Africa-based universities in research on art institutions, and also connecting them to other institutions around the world. On behalf of myself and Niger Republic, Africa America Institute Alumni Network, I salute the AAI for its continued extraordinary championship in believing in Africa's present future, not only in the continent, but its diasporas, and for continuing to champion the mobilization of resources to fulfill its mission on the continent of Africa and within its diasporic communities in the US and beyond by advocating the study of Africa in the humanities, social sciences, technology, and science in the US educational system and beyond. Congratulations, Hongera, Barka, and thank you, Dalo, so much to the AAI. Medase, our great president, Apenteng Kofi. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing peace, for education, through peace, to cultivate brotherhood and sisterhood among people of all creeds, all genders, all religions, all class, all giving opportunity to all. I'm forever grateful to the AAI, to each person of you here who are going to commit to the AAI, so that the Africa that the mayor of New York and our mama talked about just now, Miss Evie, we are going to thrive together. And peace will come to Niger. Peace will come to the Sahel. Peace will come to Mali. Peace will come to Burkina Faso. Peace will come to the Congo. Peace will come to America. And bring back our girls and boys. As Dr. Obi just said, I saw her around. Thank you. We need peace. It's through peace and solidarity that Africa and its diaspora will continue to thrive and have an impact in all societies. So we thank everybody, whether you are of Africa born, you are all Africans. You are all Africans, white, Asian, blacks, we are all one. It's love that binds us. And that's what the AAI stands for. And that's what Rutgers Love stands for. And that's what Niger is about. I love you all. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. Almost 45 years ago, I walked into the African American Institute office across from the United Nations and asked Margaret Nowicki for a job. I'd been a recent graduate of Wesleyan University in African Studies, and I had stumbled on to the best assignment possible. I got to read all the news about Africa. Remember, this was before Google, so we had it all in magazines and bulletins. And then wrote summaries for the Africa Report, which was a really powerful, very important magazine of that era. From its foundings in 1953, AAI has been a vital facilitator for building goodwill and opportunity for future leaders in America and Africa. Even when tensions have been high between the United States and African countries, AAI has been a trusted partner on both sides of the Atlantic. As a member of this board, I am very proud to continue and to seek new ways to deepen those ties between these two great continents. But today, AAI is more a partner than a mentor. Our American nation, our cities, our culture has much to learn from Africa. That's why AAI's mission has never been more urgent. We face an escalating climate crisis and a vast imbalance of wealth between North and South. We all need to work even harder to achieve a just, prosperous, and sustainable future. So thank you, Africa American Institute, and thank all of you to go ahead with that dream to make this world just a bit more fair and a lot more sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you, Usaina and Peter, for your deeply moving testimonials to the lasting impact of AAI's work. And now, please welcome Sydney Plant, Chief Development Officer of AAI.
Good evening. As AAI's Chief Development Officer, my mission is clear: to secure a future for AAI that not only endures for the next 70 years, but thrives in ways yet unimagined. I've dedicated 2 decades to fundraising, and every role I've taken on held personal meaning. However, AAI holds a unique place in my heart. Growing up in Michigan, not far from where we currently hold our school services program, all right, Michigan, I keenly felt the need for broader understanding about Africa. See, I vividly recall a history assignment when I was a college freshman, tasked with writing my family's history prior to America. I passionately explained to my professor how impossible it was for me, a descendant of enslaved people, to provide the specific details for the assignment, because the African continent was home to so many languages, religions, and cultures. And my professor was simply unmoved. After feeling so misunderstood, this experience ignited a fire within me. 3 years later, I orchestrated my first fundraising campaign for myself. I raised money from family, friends, and organizations to fund my study abroad to South Africa and Botswana. I wept during that trip when an entire grade school sang the South African national anthem in perfect harmony and welcomed my classmates and me to Mother Africa with their little brown fists raised. The sincerity of that moment filled the void I felt when I couldn't complete that history paper. See, education and enlightenment are about the African continent are at the core of AAI's mission. While government and organizational support has sustained us, individual giving drives nearly 70% of philanthropy in the United States. To meet the challenges ahead, we must diversify our efforts and embrace individual giving at every level, just like my family and friends who contributed to make sure I was able to go on my study abroad trip. So tonight, I urge you to reflect on this wonderful history you've heard about, AAI's 70-year rich history, and consider the legacy that you can help create. Your generous contributions will propel us forward ensuring AAI educates and enlightens for generations. So I ask you, on each of your tables, you have a table card. So please scan the QR code on your table. Yes, I am a fundraiser. Please scan the QR code on your table card or text AAI Gala to 41444 to make a gift. Please note, after you text, the donation is not complete until you click the link in the reply. So please make sure you click the link. Together, everyone, we can secure AAI's presence for another 70 years, empowering young minds seeking a connection between Africa and America and throughout the diaspora. And yes, Androids do work, okay? 70% of the world uses them. I don't know what's wrong with people with Apples, but okay. Anyway, I just want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart, and I ask you to join with us this evening and make your gift. And so I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to say thank you, and I'm also going to say it's time for dinner. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Bozoma St. John.
It is time to resume our program. Okay, well, thank you, Deborah. Yes, I hope you enjoyed dinner. I did. I took like 3 bites, so excuse me. And we have a very special performance. So I'm so excited about this because it brings us right out of dinner back into the excitement of our program. So please welcome to the stage critically acclaimed jazz and gospel vocalist, composer, and teacher, Alicia Olatuga.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. My name is Alicia Olatuja, and I'm going to be sharing some beautiful moments that I've had in my life and expressed through music. This next song is called Orunde, and it's all about celebration. It's about letting go of any pain in the past and always keeping your eyes moving forward to a better tomorrow. Kilo de tan soroti, kilo de tan sokun, ao bere bi ele, ao bere belu ife, odunde. Thank you. Thank you. This next tune is really special to me. And it's one of those fundamental truths, and that's everything must change. These past few years have been a thing. A thing, I'll just say that. But I will say, one of the things that gets me through the hardest times, and one of the things I hope gets us all through the tough, darker seasons, is to remember that everything must change. It's a fact. It will be. And also, it's important to remember during the beautiful seasons of your life that everything must change as well, so that you can savor and cherish every moment of those seasons as well. So this is Everything Must Change. Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone will change. No one, nothing goes unchanged. The young become the old. Mysteries to unfold, for that's the way with time. No one and nothing goes unchanged. There are not many things in life we can be sure of. Except the rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. The rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly.
Rain comes from the clouds and sun lights up the sky. And hummingbirds do fly. Must change. Nothing stays the same. Everything must change. Thank you so much, David Rosenthal. I'm Alicia Olatuja. We love you. Good night.
Let's give it up one more time, shall we, for Alicia? Yes. I've always said that, if God grants me the chance to come back again, I would like a voice. And then next time I'll be up here singing instead of just talking to you. All right, well now, to present our next award for the evening, please welcome to the stage AAI Trustee Humble Lukanga and Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okun-Ewewa.
Thank you, boss. By the way, how's everybody feeling? I'm going to go a little off the script tonight because Miss Deborah Lee is a personal hero of mine. Is that okay? Can you clap if that's okay? But before I do that, I want to thank Boz, who I don't know how many people in this room know. I think she's the most incredible, most legendary Black woman of the last 25 years when it comes to business and innovation and creating freedom for our people. I think she's unbelievable. Boz, you're a superstar, and I'm in honor of you, which makes this award even more incredible. Jordan, who wrote the script, is going to be mad at me because I'm not going to follow it because I want to speak from my heart. Deborah Lee, and we all know her resume, like she's the CEO emeritus. She's an amazing author of a book called I Am Deborah Lee. Who's read it? And she's also the founder of the Leading Women Defined. Her life is an example of empowering diversity, inclusivity. And that's where I want to just show her flowers. Without Miss Deborah Lee, I don't think Black voices matter. I don't think Black stories matter. I don't think we matter. It's because of her journey that everything is possible. Please give her flowers. It's not loud enough for me. It's not loud enough for me. It's not loud enough for me. I think Miss Deborah has fought to make sure that Black women are respected and heard. I think Miss Deborah Lee has made sure that Black women and their vision and their dreams are valid. Can we give it up for her? She's not only a pioneer in media and entertainment, she's a force of change. She's a force of change. And I'm not sure if Miss Lee has ever been loved on the way she deserves to be loved on. So, the same way we respected these presidents, can anybody stand up with me and give her the same love for one time, what she means to our community? Please. 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 Let's make sure she never doubts what the diaspora, what Black people, what we feel about Miss Lee. Let's make sure she never leaves another room not knowing what she means to us. Can I see everybody stand up and let's love on her for like 15 seconds? Please. Miss Deborah, you look 25. You can rent a car right now. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything. For me, to everybody in this room. And AAI is beyond honored to celebrate your legendary life and career.
Oh. Good evening, everyone. Are you still awake? I just want to start by acknowledging my brothers, the Excellencies, the Presidents of both Botswana and Namibia. Welcome. But I wanted to say that after listening to Dr. Evelyn Jones-Rich, I think we should get her to the UN General Assembly. She would definitely lighten up things over there. What an amazing woman. But I'm here to honor a wonderful sister, Deborah Lee. From her trailblazing career as the CEO and chair of BET, to her current work with Leading Women Defined, Deborah is an inspiration to us all, but especially for young African Americans and young Africans who aspire to excellence in their respective fields. She was an inspiration to me as the first African American to join the board of Twitter, now X. Deborah, can you believe it? In May 2016, and it was great to see her when I joined the board in July 2018. Through every step of her career, her academic training at Brown and Harvard, her work in law and media, and her service on the boards of prominent corporations, Deborah stands as an example of what each of us can achieve. Here in the United States, yes, clap please if you want to. Here in the United States, across the African continent, and on the global stage. But before I welcome Deborah to the stage to receive this honor, I would like you all to please take a minute to watch the testimonial videos.
Debbie, congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. We are so grateful for your service and your passion for lifting up underrepresented groups. And thank you to AAI for the important work you do to promote engagement between Africa and America.
Deborah is a true business leader and certainly deserving of your award this evening. I thank her for what she's done for me and for others and congratulate her on her award this evening.
Congratulations to Deborah Lee for being honored by the African American Institute with its Business Leaders Award. This award is so well deserved and particularly timely on the 70th anniversary of this venerable institution. You've blazed a trail and laid a path for so many women to come behind you. I'm so grateful to have been able to be a friend and a partner with you, and so proud of this award on your behalf.
Thank you so much. Wow, seeing your life pass before your eyes is truly something. I want to thank the Director General, and I want to thank Mr. Lugenja for your wonderful words. They inspired me. Thank you so much. And I want to thank the AAI for this amazing Business Leadership Award this evening. And I'm grateful to the Africa American Institute for the incredible work they do each and every day. Before I go on with my prepared remarks, hold it right there, I just want to say to the Deputy General, she has been such an inspiration to me. When I was on the board of Twitter, I was head of the Nominating and Governance Committee. And my job was to find the best directors we could to bring on the board of Twitter. And we were looking for something in particular. And I interviewed the Deputy General, and she wasn't quite what we were looking for, but I talked to Jack Dorsey, who was the head of Twitter. He was the CEO of Twitter. And we had identified someone else. And he said, well, why don't we bring on 2 directors? And I was like, yes, that's the right answer. And so the Deputy General joined the board. And I was forever in her awe because she added so much to the board of Twitter, now X. Luckily, we're both out of there. But as she said, I was the first African American to be on the board, but she was the first African. And she brought so much experience and knowledge. And what I learned from her, first of all, is she used to sit in the board meetings with her hands crossed. And she was very still, and she would listen to everything. And I'm like all over the place on my phone, I'm taking notes, and she would just sit there, and she would listen. And when it was her turn to speak up, she spoke loudly. And I remember one time some of the executives came in and they were talking about their global expansion. And they were going to France and they were going to the Netherlands and blah, blah, blah. And she just sat there and she said, when it was her time, she said, what about Africa? And she said, you didn't mention Africa. And the executives were like, oh, who were all white. They were like, you know, I don't know what to say. And she said, the Twitter population in Africa is bigger than all of these other places you're talking about. And how can you have a global expansion without talking about Africa? And her power and her stateswomanship and her presence was just felt throughout that room, throughout the boardroom. And next thing you know, hopefully they did something in Africa. But it was so inspirational for me to see how she handled herself and how she fought for the continent she believed in, and how she was just a quiet presence in that boardroom all the time. So thank you so much for being here. When I was asked who I wanted to present the award to me, I said Nkosi. Can I call you Nkosi? Is that okay? Okay. Nkosi was the person I wanted because of our working relationship and how much she meant to me. So thank you for being here. And as you all know, she's now the Deputy Director General of the World Trade Association. When I called her niece and asked, could she come? She said, oh my God, no, she lives in Geneva. And I said, well, just ask her for me. And luckily, this is the week of the UN and it all worked out. So thank you again for being a role model to me and a role model to women everywhere. This award, okay, thank you. I learned how to do that as a mother. So this award means so much to me. And as I thought back over my career, I realized how many people I had worked with in terms of promoting Africa and promoting African American business. In the early 90s, I was fortunate to join a trade mission to South Africa with then Secretary of Commerce Ron Brown. Just for a personal moment, Ron Brown died in a plane crash the day I was appointed as COO of BET. They had planned a party for me. I tried to cancel it because I heard that he had died. And Bob Johnson said, no, you have to do it. There are people coming from all over. And Ron Brown was such a big supporter of you and BET. So I did it. But most of the time when we were on this trade mission, we focused on you know what, I'm gonna have to put on my glasses, sorry. I was like, that's getting awful fuzzy. So most of the time, we focused on the importance of increasing the cross-cultural work of our two nations, and in particular, how Black South Africans and Black American business people could come together to increase opportunities for Black South Africans after apartheid ended. So that was a goal that was very important to me personally. And since that trip, I have been a long-time advocate of furthering the mission through entertainment and in business. So it's not always easy. You know, Africans say to the executives of BET, why don't you just put on African programming? And you can be the platform that we reach Black Americans. But the problem was Black Americans didn't know enough about Black Africans. So to just put a programming slot didn't work and ratings would suffer. But we tried our best to elevate Black culture and entertainment and to celebrate the artistry and music from countries throughout Africa that leave a lasting mark on works created here in the United States. Now, South Africa was the first country where we got distribution in Africa. But after that, we pressed on and fought for distribution. And last I heard, we have distribution in 53 of the 54 African countries. And I'm very proud of that, although I left BET 4 years ago. But that's a great testament to how hard we worked to distribute BET throughout Africa. Especially now, as our shared histories are being erased from textbooks and classrooms, it's more important than ever that we come together to ensure our stories are told, our art is celebrated, and our interests are represented across all industries. I am heartened by the efforts being made by so many individuals in this room. Thank you again to the entire team at the Africa America Institute for this incredible honor. I look forward to seeing all the continued work we can do together. Thank you so much for this honor.
Well, congratulations to Deborah Lee. I've had the pleasure of gracing the Leading Women Defined stage a few times myself, so I'm very grateful for her platform. And Humble was giving out flowers. I mean, anybody else feel like getting some flowers tonight? Because, yeah, let's all take some flowers. Thank you so much. All right, to present our final award for this evening, I'd like to welcome AAI trustee Robert McCarthy and Schneidman Associates International CEO and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Whitney Schneidman.
Thank you, Bozoma. I'm honored to be here this evening and to present the award for the 2023 Corporate Responsibility Award to telecommunications giant MTN Group. MTN's work and that of the MTN Foundation is an inspiration to AAI and to the continent. The company's commitment to inclusive connectivity, gender equality, accelerating financial inclusion, and empowering employees and communities deserves recognition. Since its founding in 1994, MTN has contributed to a revolution in the way Africans communicate with each other and with the world, bridging the digital divide, catalyzing economic growth, and raising living standards across the continent. Supporting collaboration, MTN's work has been integral in supporting the continent's ability to share its achievements and its history, something that is at the core of AAI's mission. We are honored to present the Corporate Responsibility Award this evening to MTN Group.
Good evening. Your Excellencies, President Ganga, President Masisi, distinguished guests, and everybody, just work with us for a couple more minutes. This is actually the most important part of the evening. So I just want to start. There's an Africa proverb that says that a little rain each day will fill the rivers to overflowing. And this is an apt description of MTN's growth across the African continent over the last 30 years. At the time of its founding in 1994, shortly after South Africa's historic transition to democratic rule, only 1 in 100 Black South Africans owned a phone line. Within 2 years, MTN had 200,000 cell phone customers in South Africa. Today, it has more than 10 million customers there. Now, when MTN entered the Nigerian market in 2001, there were fewer than 400,000 landlines for more than 150 million people. Today, MTN has more than 76 million customers there. But these numbers do not tell the whole story by far. The reality is that MTN is the engine room for the digital revolution that is taking place on the African continent today. Whether it is voice, data, fintech, digital, or enterprise services, Africa and Africans are being seen, heard, and transacted with in a way that is unprecedented. And MTN is the great enabler of this far-reaching continental transformation. Now, I know this firsthand. I've had the sincere privilege over nearly the last 10 years to have worked with MTN on various projects on the continent. I've experienced the commitment to Africa's progress that MTN employees and executives alike bring to their work daily. And I've been personally inspired by that commitment. And it is in this context that I have come to know Ralph Mupita, who is a valued friend, a visionary business leader, and a devoted husband, father, and brother. Let's take a look.
It is with great pleasure that I extend my heartfelt congratulations to MTN for receiving the prestigious Africa America Institute's Corporate Responsibility Award for 2023. This recognition is a testament to the unwavering commitment and genuine passion MTN has for social impact across the African continent.
The Minds community and family, we'd like to present our heartfelt congratulations on the Africa America Institute's Corporate Responsibility Award that MTN has received under your leadership.
Ralph, we at the Mandela Institute for Development Studies would like to congratulate you and your colleagues at MTN for the recognition that you're receiving from AAI for your very commendable actions in the area of social corporate responsibility.
We are fully supportive by the leadership of Ralph Mupita in enabling access to COVID-19 vaccines to the continent. Thank you.
So I am thrilled beyond words to invite Ralph Mupita to come to the stage to receive AAI's Corporate Responsibility Award on behalf of MTN. Please give him a strong round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Your Excellency, the President of Botswana, Excellency, President of Botswana, and of Namibia as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this award and recognition that really humbles us all at the MTN Group. As has been mentioned, the MTN business was founded almost 3 decades ago at a time when many Africans did not have access to reliable telecommunication services. There was very limited access, particularly to those who were poor and were in rural areas. And in particular, women did not really have access to services that we now take for granted. We are not only humbled, but we're encouraged by this award in the sense that the work that we have started at MTN is far from over. We currently have close on to 300 million customers using MTN service on a daily basis. One in three Africans is using an MTN connection to communicate to loved ones, to be transacting in terms of businesses and their opportunities. And we feel that the work that still needs to be done lies largely ahead. The GSMA, the Industry Association, the Broadband Commission, 3-4 days ago, on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, gave some very interesting statistics about the progress of connecting people globally. Today, we still have 2.6 billion people, largely in the global south, and many in Africa who are not connected to the internet. There is a lot of work still to be done, and we at MTN feel that our work is far from over. It's actually still the beginning of the beginning. There is a lot of work still to ensure that Africans do not stay disconnected, do not stay as an underclass towards what everybody else in the global north is enjoying. With progress that we're seeing in areas such as digital payments, areas such as generative AI, and other technologies like cloud computing, we as MTN are very resolved to play our part to ensure that Africans who have very limited means can continue to start seeing the progress of connectivity, can start to be digitally included, ensuring that they're also financially included. Why does digital and financial inclusion matter? It gives people of this continent dignity, hope, and opportunity. We serve customers who can only afford $3 to $5 of services in terms of telecommunications. And you must contrast that with the United States, when many of the carriers are spending $80. So with $3, with $5, we have to give our customers on the African continent the best, highest quality communication services. I travel across many regions as the president of MTN, and what I can tell you that the networks we're building in Africa are often better than the networks you find in the global north, like even here in the United States. So we are doing our very, very best to ensure that the Africans who many people look at and say there's very little opportunity, we see enormous opportunity on the continent, and we see the aspirations of our people, and we want to fulfill them. So this award is, as I mentioned, very inspiring and encourages us to continue the work that we've done. 300 million people using our services. We're operating in 19 countries. We believe that our work is just beginning, and we are going to go from strength to strength to drive financial and digital inclusion that gives Africans dignity, hope, and opportunity. Thank you so much for this award. Much appreciated.
Okay, all right, y'all still with us? Yes, you are. Okay, congratulations to MTN Group and Ralph Mupita and all of tonight's incredible honorees. Now, during this evening's awards program, you may have noticed a book being presented to each of our honorees. The book, Africans and African Americans, A New History by historian Nemeta Blyden, is a program resource for AAI and one that we commend to you. The author's great-grandfather was the renowned Edward Wilmot Blyden, widely regarded as the father of Pan-Africanism. Now that's a big deal. All right, so to our grand program, I am thrilled to now bring to the stage Frank Casulo, Vice President of International Exploration and Production at Chevron, and Uzodinma Iweala, Chief Executive Officer of the Africa Center, to introduce tonight's presidential fireside chat.
What a special evening it is tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, heads of state, members of the diplomatic corps, and distinguished guests. And thank you, Bazama, for that kind introduction. It is both an honor and an immense pleasure to be with you tonight, representing Chevron and my colleagues across the enterprise, including here tonight, members from Namibia, Nigeria, Angola, Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, and Egypt. What a special occasion. What a special occasion we are celebrating this evening, the Africa America Institute's 70th Anniversary Gala. Congratulations to AAI for fulfilling its mission by strengthening the human capacity of Africans and promoting the continent's development through your educational initiatives for 70 years. The fireside chat we're about to experience on the importance of education and scholarship across Africa is characteristic of the programs AAI is known for in the United States and on the continent of Africa. So in our midst are a few of the most exemplary and highly regarded leaders, not only in Africa, but in the world. And serving as the moderator of this panel of luminaries is a luminary in the world of journalism, Ms. Jennifer Zabazaja. So Jennifer is presently a correspondent and anchor for Bloomberg TV and Quick Take, who has considerable experience reporting on Africa, on the continent, and across many networks. Our first presenter is His Excellency, President Gengab of Namibia. His historic fight for democracy helped his country achieve its independence. His vision of social justice, regional integration, and the empowerment of African people has led to a betterment of an entire continent. President Gengab is one of AAI's most distinguished alumni, having received a scholarship under AAI's Southern Africa Student Program, where he attended the New School and Fordham University right here in New York City. Some alumni in the crowd. Thank you. Your Excellency, you announced that 2023 was the year of revival, one that brings increased prosperity and jobs for the people of Namibia. And Chevron looks forward to collaborating with you to make this revival a reality this year for Namibia and for all the countries represented here this evening. So back over to you, Uzo. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kasula. I'm just going to stand for a second because we're introducing presidents, so I think let's all pay attention. Our next distinguished guest is His Excellency, Dr. Mogwitsi Eric Kebetswe Masisi, President of the Republic of Botswana. President Masisi has a background in education, public service, and leadership. President Masisi received AAI's 2023 National Achievement Award on behalf of the people of Botswana during AAI's Gala last year. He has also received global recognition for his efforts on environment conservation and sustainable development. Your Excellency, since taking office, you have become instrumental in shaping Botswana's development and promoting regional and international cooperation and collaboration. And finally, joining tonight's presidential fireside chat is His Excellency Professor Benedict Orama, President and Chairman of African Export-Import Bank, Afrexim Bank. The rate at which Chairman Orama, this distinguished Nigerian economist, has grown the assets by almost sixfold of this Pan-African development finance institution makes him the envy of bankers and corporate financial officers everywhere. In 2020, Professor Orama received AAI's International Institution of Excellence Award on behalf of Afrexim Bank. Excellencies, I ask you to join us on stage. So can we please give a round of applause as we welcome these outstanding individuals and tonight's presidential fireside chat participants.
So just a quick correction. Unfortunately, Dr. Ramhan could not be here tonight, but we are very fortunate to have these two excellent men here, Your Excellencies. Thank you so much for being here. So let's just start with you, Your Excellency Gengab. People may not know, I mean, we had a little introduction about you. You have a very long history in education with AAI. Can you talk to us just briefly about sort of your trajectory a little bit?
Thank you very much.
Let me recognize one great lady from Africa, Gosi Ogonjo Iweala. It's a very famous name. It's been around here, World Bank, and so on. So I'm glad to see her here. Well, let me start that what education does. That education can take a son of a farm worker in a farm there in Namibia somewhere and make him to one day become a president. That's what education does. Now, how did I get my education? I grew up in Namibia where there was Bantu education system, meant only for Africans. Just to teach them how to obey instructions from white people. That's what Verwoerd said. Don't educate an African, it's giving me a knife to cut your throat. So just give him little education to carry out your instructions. That's a Bantu education. So I was dying to get education, and UN had a scholarship for Namibians in 1962. And then I decided with my colleagues to leave the country, to go and make use of that education award, scholarship. I left my country in 1962, December, ended up in his country before he was born. And then
Can you confirm
it
that?
was the toughest time there. Botswana was not independent, things were bad. But what you go through, you get education. Sleeping days, weeks, without eating. I'm serious about it. And then decided to walk because we were tired of sitting in Francistown, trying to go cross, got lost. 5 days and nights in the bush. Elephants were there. You were sitting around. You were thirsty. And they were muddying the water. Once they moved, you go and dive in and drink that water. Eventually, I ended up in DRC. The UN people were still there. And I accompanied one Mozambican who was being interviewed by an American professor who came there to talk to some refugees. But my name was not there, so I was sitting in the corner. He said, "Are you also from Mozambique?" I said, "No, I'm from Southwest Africa." He said, "Don't you want scholarship? What are your qualifications?" I said, "Well, I'm this and this." There were no qualifications, so I'm this and this. And then he said, "But you are better qualified than those whom I got from somebody else."
Right.
That's how he picked me up. I was supposed to go to Ghana for UN scholarship. But he then talked to me and I said, "Why not?" And then surely in 1 week's time, my name was sent here. I boast that Din Rask, gave me my scholarship. That was the Secretary of State, because he signed apparently, okay. So I came here, not knowing English. I'm still learning English. Not knowing English, no mathematics, no science, and therefore we're given a test. I went to Temple High, or Temple Prep, as we're calling it. You have a quick rundown in mathematics and so on, English and so on. And then thereafter, the rest is the history. I was told I went to Fordham, got my BA there, New School, Masters. Then I went to mix up education, so I registered UK University of Leeds. I got my PhD from there. So that's education, where a small boy born at a farm, from a farm worker, can be made by education. So education opens all the doors. That today I'm sitting as a president of a country, about to finish my term, because after I got education, I went back, I set up a lot of things. First, I went to train under UN system, Namibians in Zambia, the institution. I stayed there for about 13 years, trained about thousands of Namibians as civil servants. Then I went back to election campaign after having been gone from my country for 27 years. A young boy when I left, about 22 years old. And today I'm 82 years old.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Mr. President.
So
Yeah.
many people don't believe I'm 82, but it's all right.
Mr. President.
Uh,
Mr. President, I think it's important to talk to you about sort of what it is that you both have achieved, right? I mean, we're talking about the progress in education and what we've seen. The United Nations has made it a priority. You both have made it a priority. Can you talk about the achievements that you've seen within the education sector in your respective countries?
You want to go first?
Yeah, would you like to start?
Well, achievements go and see Namibia. Namibia of today and Namibia of those years are not, they are miles apart. We're a functioning democracy, freest press in Africa, freedom of press. We say they can talk until they die. I said they will never arrest any journalists, never arrest people who are attacking me. I just laugh at it. So it's a freest country, one of the freest countries in Namibia, doing very well, economically too. There was a time we went through a very difficult time. Yeah. But right now, I will tell you, we discovered oil, we have green hydrogen, which is a new thing. Everybody is running Namibia now. Right. So you are welcome.
President Masisi.
Thank you very much. I would also, give a testimony about the power and impact of education. If I just drill back, Botswana gained independence in 1966. We had no more than 3 kilometers of tarred road. We were literally the 4th poorest country in the world. Fast forward to the 70s, we discovered diamonds, got into a partnership with De Beers, and the proceeds from diamond mining, we invested heavily in our social sector. And education has always been a priority. It remains a priority. And it's through education that we built our human capital to develop other sectors in the economy. So I cannot but thank AAI for coming to the party also, because as we spent money on basic education and secondary education, AAI came to the rescue by providing opportunities for training of a good number, a total number of 176 that have been trained, tertiary, graduate, in a diversity of fields which have helped develop Botswana. So education is essential. Education liberates, it grows, and it's always relevant.
But yeah, absolutely. And I think it's worth noting that both of your countries have been touted for the commitment that you both have shown to education, and specifically the funding. You've allocated a number of funds towards the education sector, but still we're seeing a number of countries throughout the Southern African region still struggling, sub-Saharan Africa really, struggling with education poverty. I mean, what is it that needs to be injected into this part of the world in order to turn things around? What is it that you're committed to do to change the situation?
Well, in Botswana, we will always be laser focused on education. One, for the more than 20 years running, we've been spending in excess of 22% of our budget on education. And this will continue, because you don't only need to spend on the infrastructure, you need to spend on the software, you need to spend on the teacher personnel, you need to spend on curriculum development, you need to spend on testing, you need to spend on improving the quality continuously by making it relevant. And in this fast-changing world, you need to make sure that even new tools that you apply are relevant. But education is always tested. I mean, AI, artificial intelligence, you would assume to be an oxymoron in the West. Yeah. It isn't for us, but it also presents threats and challenges for us. So we need to put in the protective measures to make sure that it actually works for good. So spending money in the right places with the right persons and making sure that you try and stay ahead of the pack all the time, because we also live in a competitive world. We've got to compete, even with those countries that have been assisting us to grow. So you need to spend your money where your mouth is.
Same, the biggest chunk of our budget goes to education.
Right.
And education is free up to for the high school, for the primary and now secondary school. Because people have to get access to education. Now, if people were poor, you don't give them scholarship to study, you're not helping them. So therefore, education is free for the secondary, up to secondary school. Teachers, right now, we have more students who graduate that we cannot provide jobs. Because we're focusing, our success is now our problem. Because they are now educated, but they don't have jobs. Many of our people were used to being hired by a white person. In West Africa, people create their own jobs. They sell little things and so on. But there they are looking for somebody to hire them. But basically, we have now people are qualifying who don't have jobs. We are telling them to create their own jobs now so we can help them, guide them. Vocational training is what we are now emphasizing. That's what's going to make them to produce things. Because producing our things, and even investors who are coming, we are saying they must add value in our country to transfer technology and create other jobs.
Right.
So education open other doors, therefore they must create their own jobs too.
What are the partnerships with investors that are working, that are stimulating the education sector in your economy?
I didn't get it.
What are the partnerships?
What are the public-private partnerships that are working, that are really transforming for the next generation of students?
For private, basically, it's a government playing the biggest role. Because government thinks government to provide education to our people who are denied education. Private sector, there are some who give scholarships, but it's our duty to provide education to our people.
Yeah.
The partnerships that we have essentially operate at the tertiary level. And those are with organizations that are research-oriented. Those are with organizations with which we have long-standing partnerships for programmatic interventions. For instance, at one time, Botswana was the most afflicted country by HIV and AIDS. And we reached out, my former president, Mogai, reached out to the world, called for assistance. That was forthcoming. We had some of the partners over here tonight, and thankfully they were willing to put their money in this game. And this has pivoted our capacity to learn and to undertake research to the extent that Botswana, drawing from the lessons and the skills we acquired from our work in HIV, resulted in us discovering the first in the world Omicron. And so these public-private partnerships for good do work. The other is that we are a relatively small population. We are a pretty organized society and country, yes? And we also use the resources we are given, whether given as a grant or given as a loan, for what they're intended. And even in research that we undertake, anybody who puts their pula or dollar down to carry out research knows they'll get a result. And so when the global pharmaceutical companies and the research institutions helped us with HIV and AIDS, it resulted in a dramatic change. So we were able to offer free prophylactic services to everybody. And we are witnessing a decline in incidence rate and infection rate. For the first time, there's a possibility out of these partnerships that we would actually eliminate HIV and AIDS.
Oh, wow.
In our case, thanks to PEPFAR, that American support project, PEPFAR, President Bush strategy. And because of that, we have already achieved one of the few countries who have 90 of HIV people who know they are not in their condition, 95 already. One of the few countries who have achieved that. To the PEPFAR.
Oh, wow. So let's just finish quickly on, we're in the US, we're talking about the international community and what more can be done to support all of the continent, not just your countries. What would you both say? What is the message to the international community?
I defer to my senior.
Well, firstly, as I said, Namibia it's a free democracy, peaceful country. We invite investors to come and invest. We are sitting now with new technology, new minerals. We are now talking about Namibia. When I go to Europe, everybody's running to Namibia.
Right.
Because we have green hydrogen, the new energy source. And therefore, EU, everybody is coming to sign agreements with us for that new energy source. Americans are left out. So doors are open. It's a new area. We have also rare minerals, lithium and so on, that everybody is now looking for. We have them. So Namibia has minerals. Namibia has nearly things that you don't have in other countries.
Right.
But we cannot develop it.
Right.
We need investors to come. Right. So black people, you are welcome to come. I'm not trying to be racist here, but since we are talking about African-American relationship,
right.
I was here. Those days we were talking about Ben, baby Ben.
Right.
Now we are going to say build, baby, build.
Right.
So therefore, come and help us to build.
Thank you, Your Excellency. President Masisi, do you want to close us out just very quickly?
Yeah, very quickly. I think the priorities of Africa ought to be the priorities of the world. Africa is the most virgin continent. It has the youngest population. It's the bearer of the most known minerals and wealth. It bears the opportunity to pivot the elimination of greenhouse gas emissions.
Right.
And it presents an opportunity in which, when we invest, we would see the biggest, fastest, longest lasting change globally.
Yep.
And so I think it's important that we get people who come to Africa to help us in this transition also to be responsible.
Right.
We need to make sure that we do not promote poor governance. It's not of our own making.
Right.
A lot of the wars and the conflict and the instability in Africa is externalized. It's exogenous to Africa. And so we plead with you to please not help us confuse us even more. And finally, if you are to maintain global peace and have any chance of attaining the SDGs,
right.
It's important that when the resources, whether human, natural resource of Africa are exploited,
right.
They're exploited in a manner that provides for sustainability and for peace.
Right.
And that calls for equity. You must be ethical in the contracts you sign.
Right.
And if you don't know how to do it, come here.
All right, President, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone. Your Excellencies, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
you.
you so much. Yeah.
Laisse ta jalousie, y'a rien dedans.
For leading tonight's presidential fireside chat. Oh, the night is not over. You thought you were going somewhere? You're not. Ha. Yes, well, thank you so much to His Excellency, President Masisi. Thank you so much. His Excellency, President Kanko. And thank you for the enlightened conversation. As we near the conclusion of tonight's program, join me in welcoming to the stage AI's Chair of the Board of Trustees and my personal friend, Crystal Jackson.
This has been an incredible and long evening. Congratulations again to all of tonight's phenomenal honorees. Yes, to our esteemed guests and our host and our wonderful performers. This evening, we celebrated together 70 years of AAI's impact. You have seen and heard how our programs and initiatives have enriched the lives of people all over the world. And we're embarking on new journeys to carry forward our vision of connecting Africa and the people of the African diaspora in more innovative and expansive ways. If you're in the room tonight, you are committed to this mission. I'm going to ask that you consider giving to support the mission of AAI. Again, thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Laisse ta jalousie, y'a rien dedans. Nous on cherche l'argent, y'a rien dedans.